Hey there, these are 5 tips to be more confident and interesting. So, first tip is avoid being too polished or too scripted or too perfect. But I mean, know your stuff. Know your stuff, have practice it, rehearsed it, be familiar with it, or the lack of knowledge of your stuff will actually show that you're not confident. But avoid making it too scripted, too polished, because then it becomes too boring and it takes all the emotion out of it because you're just regurgitating what you've memorized, which is much less interesting than knowing your stuff, but giving them a real-time display of your knowledge and what you know. Number 2, make sure your voice inflection only goes up at the end with questions. I see this a lot. People like, oh, my product is only $1,000. And the voice goes up. It's like a question. It's like you're not confident of your price. Or you're saying, I'm a really, really great, let's say, leader. I'm a really, really great leader versus I'm a really, really great leader. You see the difference? One sounds like a question, so it's a lot less confident than I'm a great leader. You could trust me versus you can really trust me. You can really trust me. I've heard it before. I'm really good at what I do. And it's sometimes it's a little more subtle than that. I'm doing this for emphasis since you can hear it, but sometimes it's more subtle. It happens a lot with people. Record your voice, record yourself. Make sure your voice isn't going up at the end when you want a command statement or you're trying to communicate something confidently. And number 3, do something intentional with your hands, whether it's steepling that shows confidence, shows influence, a bit of dominance, but just shows confidence, really steepling when you're making a point, right? You could use hands instead of being too much, be very intentional with what you're doing and saying with your hands versus just being all over the place. Be very intentional, point to something, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 is this. You guys really need to understand this. It's so important. Be very, very intentional with your hand movements, right? Versus keeping them out of your pocket if you're standing. Have them at your sides if you're standing. Show you're not hiding anything. Avoid having them behind your back because it appears like you're hiding something or not trustworthy. Avoid covering your neck in any way that shows a lack of confidence because you're covering a vulnerable part, or avoid covering area. Again, whether you're a man or woman, because again, it shows a lack of confidence. You're covering up a vulnerable area. Again, unconsciously, subconsciously communicating a lack of confidence. Number 4, avoid hiding your emotions. Be interesting, show emotions, right? Show passion and interest. And that relates to number 1 a little bit, because if you're too polished and too passionate, I've seen people who are experts at what they're doing and they just talk like this and they're delivering the information because they've done it 1,000 times. They know exactly what they're saying, or they're too polished, just literally reading a script in their own mind. Versus being interesting and saying, guys, this is really important. And I'm super passionate for this versus I'm really, really passionate about teaching you guys this. That sucks, right? So be passionate. Avoid hiding your emotions. Be different, be unique, be interesting. Do something interesting and unique. That's why people will like you. That's why you'll be seen as different. That's why you'll stand out. That's why you'll be influential. Forget about conforming or being normal or being like everyone else. That's not who is influential. Number 5, tell that negative voice in your head to shut up right away. As soon as you're presenting, you're pitching, you're selling, you're interacting with someone, if it's like, oh, you're not good enough, or oh, they're not going to like you, or they're not going to buy from you, or they're not really listening, whatever that negative voice says to you, this won't work, whatever. Tell that voice to shut up. You got to stop that voice right away. Otherwise, it's going to sabotage your presentation, your pitch, your conversation, your communication, or even your live video, your webinar, right? Tell that voice to shut up right away, or say, stop it right away. It's a pattern interrupt you need to do. Number 6 is avoid using verbal fillers. There's a couple bonuses I got for you. So bonus 1 here. Avoid using verbal fillers like, those. Avoid using those. They will weaken your message substantially, and it makes you seem less confident, even if you are confident, and it weakens your message. So the last tip, so number 7, the last bonus tip here is, instead of fillers, pause. Pause is powerful. Pausing is powerful. So when you pause, and this is something that was a growth area for me as well, when you pause, it's powerful. Plus, it allows them to catch up and really get and process what you're saying, because you already know your stuff. So thinking, oh, okay, we can move on to a next thought. Pause. because they don't know it. They're just learning it and they need to process it. So pause. It lets them really learn it and take it in. And it also helps you appear powerful and confident. So that was 5 tips plus 2 bonus to be more confident and interesting. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got a lot out of it. Feel free to check out my website, www.unleashyourpower.com. Check me out on YouTube, James R. Elliott, Unleash Your Power. You'll find my YouTube channel there. Feel free to check me out, and looking forward to connecting again. Have your best day ever. Take care. I'm James Robert Elliott, best-selling international author of the book Unleash Your Power. Go have your best day ever.